and he is 1 or 2 good Novas away from potentially still winning game 1.
Certainly is. Gabe feeling the pressure here, even lifting up the orbital command. Zaun sending out zoning disruptor shots here, and some big juicy shots do land. The supply still ridiculously close, but the disruptor Novas, they're running thin now. Another massive shot, another one. Oh my goodness, I don't know how Zaun's doing this. He's actually ahead 30 supply now, pushing Gabe to the limit, and that is not a good vibe for the rest of this series here, when given how far ahead he was in this game.
This is a banger so far. This is a barn burner. It's been a very close and competitive series. Hero Marine pedal to the metal one more time. Another overcharge has been activated immediately. These little sentries dropping some force switch from downtown, but nice pickup on a couple of these buy units that were shaved off. And it's very important that battery is there, because if it wasn't, this Colossus would be in serious trouble.
I think, though, the battery overcharge is maybe a bit too soon, because it's the real fight that's happening. And oh my goodness, that is a lot of bio. Only 2 Colossus pretty much remain here. Even the Marauders getting on them. And wow, all of the Protoss army just falls just like that in GG. Hero Marine tying up the series.
Probably he wants to get an Immortal out, but he's going to lose power to the robotics facility.
Oh my goodness, he's got Pylon behind and a battery coming up, but this is now 3 tanks in his face. Going to lose the Cybernetics core as well. That means no more Stalkers, and if Gabe kills this Robo, no Immortal either. I think Gabe's doing it here, Kev, and he's doing it really damn well.
Starcraft 2 is a game of execution at the highest level, and sure, there was high execution here, but this is a strategic victory by Hero Marine. He knows how Protoss players think, he knows how they react to certain things that they scout, and he gave Zaun the completely wrong idea with that empty medevac.
These Stalkers, they will want to get a fight, maybe a jump on it, and that is a big deal. I think he kind of waited for the first volley of the tanks as well, so he cleans up all 3 tanks there and keeps a good portion of his Stalkers alive. That's actually really good for Zaun. He is on 5 barracks against all of this, running through the fire, running through the storms here. His army is badly wounded, but that gold base has got to be mining out soon, right? Or at least not long left on it.
I mean, Gabus is loving life. He's got Widow Mines to deal with the Zealots. He's got +1 on his infantry units. These Protoss units have no armor. One storm comes in from the high ground. Second one lands on some of the units on the right. Zaun needs to hang in there for his tournament life. And the Archon's actually soaking up a lot of shots. 2 out of 3 do fall though. And all that's left is a couple of Stalkers, as we do have a few more Zealots show up. But I'm afraid it's just not enough unless we can land 1 or 2 more storms.
It's so hard. Remember, these are ghosts in the fray, meaning, oh, that's a big storm and a lot of bio medevacs. And Zaun, he's running down the ramp. He feels this is his moment. And the disruptor shot is pretty decent as well. A huge splash of red Terran blood here. He's still fighting another disruptor shot. This one, not as juicy. He does take out a ghost, but he's got no battery left whatsoever. Hero Marine smells blood. Oh, he takes out the War Prism. Oh my goodness. Hero Marine moves on to the round of 8 here. You see the elation on his face, fist bumps in the air. What a series from Big Gabe.
It's going to go huge. This time it's Maru that's painted orange. He got matrices off on all of the siege tanks, but he has no follow-up to that. Now we're going to get the paint orange, and we're just going to go back and forward in the skies. 16-14 Vikings favoring Dream at the moment. Now we've got these Marines continue to push on forward. See even more units coming in on the counter-attack, and Dream putting the pressure on Maru still.
You've got momentum against Maru. Please go for the production. That is the killing move there, and that's exactly what Dream does. He knows it. He wants to continue pushing forward. It once again comes down to the air battle that Dream actually number-wise is absolutely winning. He has some Marines on the ground as well to support, getting into the production, getting into the economy. So many orbitals at this point have fallen for Maru.
Before, neither player really wants to be the one to really make the jump or make the commitment. Refreshing the anti-armor missile there. Maru is going to commit in. If his Marines can get active, they're going to be able to do a lot. Now they're obviously going to start reaching tank range, but he gets a lot of Marine fire onto the Vikings there, making this a lot more reasonable than I thought it was going to be. 7 versus 12 coming out, still in Dream's favor.
On side of the map, Dream also desperately wanting to hold on to these left side bases and perhaps even take the top left. So it is actually a lot about right here, right now. Dream forced to take the engagement to try and hold on. Maru does spill forward with a couple of his tanks interference matrix, but the number of Marines is going to be enough, and Maru will take game number 3. For one of the reasons he was lost in the middle is because so much was over to the right side. Kills the orbital, kills all those SCVs, decides not to go for the base trip, which is probably the smarter, easier move to do. He knows that he has killed so much of Dream's economy that Dream is far more all in than he is. Trying to use it on whatever upgrades he still needs, replacing his Ravens as well, but suddenly it becomes the issue again of Dream's Marines. However, trying to get that concave, there are some Marines for Maru, auditors for Maru as well, so Dream will not be breaking into the main base, not soon anyways, but he is looking for it. Another air battle. There's a lot of Marines on the ground for Dream. His tank's currently on siege, actually helping to take down the outer turrets in a way that you would not usually imagine. But this all seems like it's not going to be quite enough. It does look like we're going to be getting that best of 5 offline Maru versus Cyril match. Let's be real, a lot of us wanted it, but Dream is not ready to let it go. One last fight to try and protect his third base, but he is 70 supply down, half the army supply, and that is it. Good game, well played. Maru 3-1 against Dream, moving on to face the Finnish Phenom.
This is a sick, maxed out army for Ryung. Doesn't have a lot of Widow Mines in there. The Marine split's going to be very important, but it's got a few Thors, a lot of libs. And Ryung, I mean, wow. I just, I'm very, very impressed right now.
I'm impressed that he's going to give himself a chance, but the Marine splits need to be more than that as the Mutas go across the map on the counter. Marines come chasing back. Pretty much set to go again, and now he's going to come in from top and left-hand side. So in we roll. The Mutas are coming through as the Thors evacuate. They will start to work their way through the libs, and the bio that's reinforcing doesn't stand a chance.
There's just so many Banelings, Wardy. Oh my lord. Beautiful spreadies from Ryung. But when there are so many Banelings, they still end up connecting with a fair few units, and the main thing there is the Mutas cleaned up the Liberators. Of course, they forced back the anti-air, did the Banelings. Ooh! Oh! Oh my lord! Whoa! Dude. Oh my lord, this is the most aggressive proxy barracks. He snuck 2 SCVs behind the expansion. That second one was so close to getting spotted by the drone as well. And he's building 2 barracks literally behind Rogue's base. Oh, this is so dirty.
I love it. Let's go, Ryung. He's got a plan for this series, Pig. His plan might not have worked in game number 1, but you know what? Ramp it up a little bit for game 2. Hell yes.
No. He should have unloaded to get that. He does.
Okay, nice. Gets an overload as well as Ryung. He's going to get this hatchery. The problem with playing Roaches against 2 racks is you do get that factory back at home, so the counterattack is not as powerful. It's not as committed as the 3 racks, which then the Roaches are even more justified in breaking out and then have a better counter. The hatchery goes down. The bunker will, of course, survive. Even going to get a bit of repair on it as the first Roach about to pop.
Continue the 2-time Katowice champion on the back foot right now. Zergling backstab comes out desperately. Mutas do join up with it, going to go for it, but it's a pretty big section of Marine Marauder there. Does look like the Mutas are going to get on top. Definitely, a couple Mutas are starting to fall though. Does look like that's a win for now, but whoa, the Banelings get gunned down. Just a handful of Ravagers and Banelings not able to defend this many units.
Oh, another hatchery going down, and Roaches surely cannot keep this up. The Mutas coming through, still shutting down reinforcements, and Ryung is having trouble over here. But there's only so many places the Mutas can hit because of the turrets and the mineral lines.
This can get a massive hit, just maybe. It could be the lifeline that Rogue needs back into this series. Mutalisk does go down to the Widowmine. Marines coming on forward. They may pull back into the Burrowed Banelings, but it looks like with some biles, Rogue realizes I can't break out. Ryung tying up the series 1-1. Command Center first on the gold. Are you actually out of your mind? Command Center first on the gold. That is sick. I don't know what this turns into, but this is going to be absolutely insane. I have never seen this before.
There's nothing to defend it. What is the plan, Ryung? Run the SCVs? Yeah, I mean, run.
Yeah, they've got to get out of there. And if he can save even a few, maybe, just maybe, because he's still up in workers. And he does have a wall off up. Whoa. No! Ryung, you let the wall down to try and save the lads. You needed to lock them out. Rogue with the lifeblood.
As long as he survives, I think even if he loses his gold base at this point, he's going to be in good shape, but that's another story. These Banelings, they're looking for these connections, and dancing around the Baneling is Reynor, sniping it off as well. A few Queens will fall to this gold, but he's getting his own Roaches out now, Ravi, and Dark, he doesn't have much left in the tank.
Reynor is up in army supply. He is up in worker supply. Actually, this is insane. Reynor making an insanely good hold. The economy really starting to kick in. And here in game number 1, Reynor is chasing Dark back. The man who was effectively all in off of this, who had to do something with his attack, is getting pushed on back by the Roaches of Reynor.
Does he really have? Mutas are starting here. Banelings are being produced by Dark as well. I don't know what's going to happen.
It looks like Dark is also just going to forego the third base. He knows that he has to pretty much go for the jugular. He sends a few lings over there, starting to knock down the wall. The Bailey's coming rolling on forward. They can't quite connect with the spine crawlers just yet. They finally get in range as the queen wall starts to dissipate. But these spine crawlers are holding the line here for Reynor. Mutas are finally starting to pop out. They're going to start working away at those great banelings and roaches. And it seems like Reynor's ace in the hole over here for the defense is starting to come forward. But is it a little bit too late? Can he do enough damage to this army? It looks like the answer is going to be yes for the moment. He gets a good blinding cloud, a couple of ducks. The Vipers for Dark were busy trying to gather energy, so now a lot of these spore cars are going to be going down. This is going to make it a lot easier for Reynor to start pushing on forward. Hydra's fighting versus Queens with tons of transfuses coming on out. Is Reynor going to have enough to bully his way forward? It looks like no. Dark is able to push Reynor back. He gets a bit of a punishment as well as he abducts a couple of those lurkers on the retreat. Maybe I need to be defensive? No. The answer is a resounding no very quickly. Reynor starts moving down the ramp with a lot of his Hydras, trying to be aggressive onto this base. His lurkers, his Vipers, all getting going to the spore cars, and it does seem like Dark is taking a 60 supply lead.
And that's not replenishable. It isn't replenishable at all. Look at his gas, it's so low.
Using it on some of these links to try and draw the army out of position and try and go for a big attack seems like a reasonable move. We're seeing a lot of blinding clouds coming down on both sides. I think the roaches are mostly out of the blinding clouds and actually able to attack a little bit more, but the splash damage from Dark is going to be a little bit too brutal. We're starting to see at the end of the day, Dark has a little bit too much. GG gets called. Reynor has a fighting chance over here, but he needs to continue to defend.
He's got +1 armor right now. That's actually a massive deal when it comes to these lings just dealing far less damage than they should. Baneling nest, or rather Baneling was sniped. The roaches in on the drones now. The drones getting a nice little wraparound here, helping with the damage. The supply actually favoring Reynor at this point. Is he going to hold? He's actually got more roaches out here. He's the defender with a defender's advantage as well. If he holds here, Ravi, he's still absolutely in this game, but can he hold? That is the question. These roaches of Dark starting to deal a lot of damage. The drones have to get pulled again, but Reynor, oh my goodness, this is close.
It is so unbelievably close. Remember, every time the drones pull off the line, they're also not mining, but Reynor is still able to scrounge up enough resources to push this army of Dark back.
Opponent has done nothing but build ground units, the right move. Wait, he's got no units moving over to that spot. He's got nothing moving over to it, but Dark is threatening here with quite a lot of roaches at his front door as well. Remember, they've got +1 missiles here. These are a lot healthier roaches. The Nidus in the main, now it's going to be a Nidus at this front door. Reynor's holding strong though, he does have a lot more supply. I think he felt that Reynor was going to be cheeky and go for a Spire. It's the only possible answer. He could have been thinking about this.
Perfectly set up over there. It looks like Reynor was able to cancel the Nice Storm in the main base of 2 roaches and a queen. The absolute minimum number of units, which is exactly what you want. So you can have all these units over here at the front lines. A great concave over here on the high ground from Reynor. And you can see the supply starting to climb massively in favor of our young Italian Zerg. Reynor eats his own biles because he knows he is so far ahead in supply. He feels like he can afford to do with the spine crawl adding quite a bit of damage. Is it going to be enough?
I'm not sure, Ravi. I mean, he's got better upgrades with this as well. The Muta's dealing constant damage, but it just looks like there's too much Reynor at this point in time.
Because the best defensive player of all time, if he can somehow make it a hold happen over here, but I think Reynor is going to make that nigh impossible as he charges on forward. The Hydras, the Roaches, dealing out the DPS. The Mutas come home to help try and defend, but it is simply not enough.
And against that many lurkers,
it
could still run all awry for him.
Oh, one of the Vipers gets picked off. The second Viper gets picked off by a Spore Crawler as well. Reynor comes in with a flank of those Hydras on the top side, but they get picked off very, very quickly. Reynor dropping in supply, but so does Dark. A lot of these Hydras are now going to start being able to push on forward into Reynor's territory. These Vipers need the extra support. They need to be able to keep these lurkers alive. And Reynor climbing in supply at 16 Hydras, 12 roaches, 10 lurkers are on the way.
I think Reynor's done it, mate. I think he's absolutely done it. This amount of units that Reynor has, no Vipers left whatsoever for Dark. Dark realizes he's done a little bit of damage, but he's now on the run, and look at that. Easy pickings for the Italian. Dark running away, and he can't do anything against this army. His army can't shoot. Now he's going to see all these lurkers still alive, but look at him. You can see it on the webcam. He knows that this is it. He can't beat that army anymore, and this, salt in the wound. GG! Reynor takes it. Oh my my goodness, he moves into the semi-finals here.
Damage whatsoever. Meanwhile, Solar has killed over 30 SCVs and is still taking decent fights. More Ling run-bys. Of course, it's a good Zerg map. This kind of stuff is inevitable. We did land a little EMP there on the Vipers, but Solar is still here with overwhelming numbers, and Hero Marine is ready to tap out. GG. The entire center of the map is going to be covered in creep, as Solar is going to send the majority of his Lings to the other side of the map. That is not enough Marines to deal with it. We do have defensive Banelings. Hero Marine's got 1-1, but he doesn't have combat shield yet. So if these Banelings connect, well, Solar is going to have the time of his life. We see a few drones going down, maybe to the Banshees somewhere, or these drones were being transferred. The Hellbats do get blown up by the Banelings, and it seems like the Zerglings are going to turn around. Gabe is just kind of chilling on 2 bases at this point. But does Hero Marine really have enough firepower on the other side of the map to end the game?
Combat shield will finish, so that will definitely help in this fight. However, this fight will mainly be on creep. Solar moves forward with the Banelings, gets good connections as a lot of the Lings are coming back, and this push seems to be getting cleaned up. One tank in the back.
Reinforcements? The reinforcements coming in from the right side. A few more Marines. Medivacs are going to get on top of these Marines. There is a single tank in the mix as well. Hero Marine still has the army supply lead. Not a single Baneling inside. We're going to pull the drones for a split second, so Hero Marine does find a lot of damage. The tank shots are big. Extra Lings will pop directly into the fire of this infantry. 16 drones going down, but here are the Banelings that Solar has been waiting for.
Yeah, tank shots are good. Splits are good as well. I think Hero Marine might just be doing it. 3 Banelings remaining with target fire. That should be doable. One goes down, 2 still alive. Do get some connections, but there's no Banelings alive.
Nope, there are a couple of Banelings morphing. Solar is now working with just a single Ling and 6 Queens. Gabe is unstoppable. This is the moment he's been waiting for. There are 3 extra Banelings finishing up. 1 Baneling coming in from the back, and Hero Marine is forced to pick up for a split second.
That these Banelings could potentially get some big connections. Stim, splits, good so far. None of these Banelings really finding what they want. It does feel like, though, Hero Marine doesn't quite have enough here. Parasitic Bomb goes down. The medevac count is rather low as well. And do we have anything at home that can help us defend?
All the momentum is inside of Solar. I wouldn't mind if Solar would just slow down a little bit here. I know you still have a lot of units made, but you actually still have an economy to fall back to. You can use your lurkers. Instead, he's taking a fight off creep. I don't know if this was necessary. Now, he did kill the planetary fortress on the left side, so that's obviously a big W for Solar. Only 3 lurkers, 20 Banelings, but only 11 remain after those tank shots. This is an army that has game-ending potential, as the Baneling nest gets picked off, and the Hydralisk dam was on the right side there as well. So Solar is losing 2 of his very important production facilities, and I don't think he's rebuilt them. He's even going to rebuild a spawning pool somewhere. He still has that in the main base. Can this army do it for Hero Marine?
8 lurkers being morphed on the high ground. Once they finish, these tanks need to slowly but surely start pushing forward. There's still lurkers on the production of Hero Marine. The army supply is huge though for the German Terran. 120 army supply.
He can do this all day. He can dance all day. He can drop all day.
He definitely can. Orbital command finally goes down, but it won't matter. He is indeed making a bit of a wall with these barracks. All of these fights will most likely happen off creep. Oh, I love how he is doing it. Look at that. Even getting all these barracks down there. Ghost on the low ground. Will use the snipe. Bailey so down. Does need to pick up these ghosts though. Hero Marine, you need to be careful. Oh, Solar does not want to commit to one side. Instead starts targeting down these. Oh my god, GG! Hero Marine wins the impossible game.
10 tanks, 40 Marines, plus 3 is finishing up. That hatchery is under a lot of fire. Lurkers are trying to hold the line, but Solar is forced to evacuate this base too, as the Marines are going to chase. Tank shots are big. Hatchery will fall. I don't think the Link counterattack really got a whole lot done. We need more Vipers, Solar. I know you've been under a ridiculous amount of pressure, but if there is one unit here that's going to make the comeback possible, it has to be the Viper.
They're so low though. Medevacs still have energy. Gabe keeps pushing forward. Tank count still very high, 2 tanks being produced at a time. Extra Vipers are a necessity at this point.
It's almost pure tank. Here we go. This is it for Solar. Drops the blinding clouds, wants to run the lurkers, Lings, Banelings, anything he still has. He throws the kitchen sink at Hero Marine. Will it be enough? A lot of tanks have gone down, but there is still quite a bit of Terran remaining. At the same time, though, extra lurkers are going to show up. The tanks in the top side get picked off too, and it seems like it has been enough. The kitchen sink has pushed back Hero Marine once and for all. 10 SCVs have gone down during all of this. We were looking at 20 tank sexy splits off grid. We're gonna have a parasitic bomb, almost a desperation parasitic bomb to find a few banelings are gonna run in here. A Widowmine has not fired yet, I believe, and it does not fire as it did go down to the banelings. So Solar is gonna push it back, but at the same time, the Marines of Big Game are finding some success here in the natural. They're gonna stim forward, get on top of a Queen. There are a couple of Lings and a couple of Hydras, but that's not gonna be enough. So these banelings need to come to the rescue. Solar holds, but can he keep this base alive? The answer is no, as Widowmines will also manage to burrow and get a good shot.
He wants to get himself in the semifinals.
He truly has Solar on the ropes once more. He had Solar on wobbly legs, on burling ground, but that was not enough to get Solar out of it. This time around, he doesn't just have him on wobbly legs. I think he has officially knocked out Solar. Hero Marine with the biggest accomplishment of his StarCraft 2 career as he advances to the semi-finals of the World Championships here in 2022.
And he's just identified the weak point. Look at this. He's trying to wall off with the command center and engineering base. I think there's still a hole. It's open. It's open.
He's gonna be too late. The command center's not gonna land. The banelings bust on through. Just a handful of Marines to actually stop this. This is gonna be the best spiker in the world. Already a couple baneling snipes trying to save Maru's life here in game number 2, but it's not worked. More Lings, more banelings just drive on through. 15 SCVs already killed, and there's another zap out. He knows that this is one of his last armies, and he has to use it super effectively.
He's got to make sure those infestors spread out and don't get EMP'd, because I really think Maru might even... Oh, great fungal. You can't get out of there if you chain fungal. One of the infestors does go down. Another one, great target fire. Those tanks, yes, they fall, but he gets rid of some of the infestors. And Cyril, he's only got one left. That's 2 fungal growths to stop 17 ghosts from spamming snipe on his army. This is less than ideal. Cyril may be evicting Maru from his mining bases, but Maru's up 14 army supply and he's 8 Thorst champions. The infestor burrowing behind Ravage is going to get sniped. Ow, 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 ow. Cyril taking an awful fight there. The ghost catching the edge of him. He's got to get out of here. He's got to evacuate this situation. The ghosts are just hammering his broodlords. The Thors and the Vikings going ham. And Maru smashing Cyril. Ridiculous amount of money. And I tell you, when we get another shot of that army, when it comes in with the next attack, it's going to be disgusting, because that's another round of far too many banelings.
Oh, so many banelings coming in, and the Queen's actually taking some of that tank fire. This is the last stand of Maru. Can he once again do it? It's not looking likely. The tanks are so desperately trying to take care of their ghost buddies. It's not going to work. Cyril takes the 3-1 victory and moves forward in IEM Katowice.
He moves forward. Uh-oh, Roach Ravager on my doorstep. Allion's nearly dead. SCVs are retreating, and I don't know if he's going to be able to raise that. Debo the Ling will sit on top of it. And Roddy, I feel like that might just be game.
That might just be game, and this might be the quickest game of the day. Bunny is going to pull a lot of SCVs, and actually the Ravager kills itself. And very well done by Bunny moving the SCVs around, so this wasn't as bad as what it should have been. He was forced to cancel his tag lap again, but this was honestly quite magical by Bunny. He did get a good scout off, and it's like, hey, actually you really don't have that many drones, so where are they? Well, all that larva got put into Lings. The Lings will surround the tank goes down immediately. Once more the floodgates are open. Miraculous hold earlier. This time around we need to hold against a little more than just a few roaches and ravages. The SCVs are doing whatever they can, but I think this time around Rogue just has a little too much here in game 1.
Absolutely, obviously just continuing through. This time there's no miraculous SCV surround. There's no cutting this Roach Ravager army in half.
And here come all the drones that are going to try to just win the fight against the SCVs and the Marines.
There's going to be a lot of Marines, though. This is 3 racks. Extra reinforcements already showed up. 1 drone, 2 drone already going down. Make it 3. And these Marines are having a great time. 4 drones down. The drones looking for that surround. Finally, Marines are falling. We will get a 5th one. Here, if the target fire there, it's not, but the SCVs get it. However, of course, this has stopped the bunker progress. No! The bunker's finished up. Marines will look to get in it. And now the Ling drone must stop those Marines from getting there.
Yeah, against 2 racks, this would be phenomenal for Rogue, because I think these Marines would have a very hard time getting into the bunker, but it's a 3 racks, and that means a few extra Marines will show up. 1 SCV is doing his best to keep that bunker alive for as long as possible, but that bunker is actually still going to go down, and Rogue still has a very healthy drone count.
That can be enough, and I love the fake little drop, of course, trying to pull units out of position.
This is really cool. We know that these medevacs are empty, but Rogue does not know that they're empty. Bunny is really selling it. He's even using the boost, but at the same time, he's going to try to stim into this middle line.
Base, it's going to go down. He's got it. The 3rd is going to go, and that is a massive play. Lift up, get those units out of there. Oh no, going to get a Ravager first. Why the heck not? Bunny with a move to get himself perhaps back in this.
Masters.
What a move by Bunny. Speaking of a way of getting yourself back into the game, 200 IQ pick Reyn.
Absolutely. Let's see if he can hold back at home. Roach Ravager coming in. Rogue never continued upgrades or anything of those sorts, so this attack is looking to do a lot. He is down on workers. He needs to do something right now. The Roach Ravager going to start coming in. Biles are dropping. Bunny backing up for the moment.
And I don't see an Overseer here. I don't see an Overseer and Overlord. There is a beautiful tank on the high ground there. That tank is going to fire 4 days. Rogue is running straight into the meat grinder. Sure, he's landing a couple of corrosive balls. He picks up one tank, but that's not going to be enough. You're like, okay, that's a decent amount of crit too. But 57 drones is just not a whole lot. But these tanks are not sieged and the lurkers are running on top of them. This seems like a pretty good start, at least for Rogue, but can he truly stick around?
Ghosts are coming in from the upper right-hand side, but they're running out of snipes. They just don't have enough to get rid of these last few lurkers, and so Rogue is going to take a huge fight in his favor. Those ghosts are still working away at what they can. I believe there was no detection left, but then a few of them became uncloaked, and the splash damage killed a bunch of them. But he sent a drop out through the bottom side, but now that's come back way too late. And in one fatal maneuver, Rogue has just won this game.
Let's find a few links. They find a few roaches now. Battlecruiser.
Oh no, the CC's up. So you can't even wall off to buy any time. SCVs are going to try and pull up into the main base. Roaches are going to run for it. They're going to go straight in. Well, that means you've got to fight here. Corrosive Biles coming down toward the Hellions. More SCVs pulling, but there's so many links. Yeah, the BC is going to pop out, but it's going to be way too late. So many SCVs are going down already. And Rogue really just wants to go to those semifinals, doesn't he?
Rogue is doing Rogue things. The Battlecruiser will be able to clean this up eventually. That command center is not an orbital. Now, surviving with 23 SCVs is really not all that bad. And if this is it, I actually still kind of believe it for a split second. We're going to lose a couple of extra. I don't like dropping news on the log right now, but Rogue goes back into droning. Waddy, is this a hold? Well, he's down 28 workers. He has pulled off one miracle in this best of 5. Can he possibly pull off 2?
Well, let's find out. He's starting to push on forward, but Rogue has everything he needs. He's got the upgrades. He's going to bounce right now. The Lingbane Muto comes swarming on forward. The Marines have to go splitting back, and, well, Bunny does a reasonable job of it, but there was just going to be always a bit too much Rogue here. The BC will go down. These Marines are fighting their hearts out, but they will absolutely not be enough. Reinforcements showing up, but the Mutos are happy just to take down the Medivacs. The Marines are still dropping, with the CC on fire, and Rogue is going to be your final semi-finalist in the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.